Hello footy tippers, welcome along to our weekly look at the NRL thanks to Centrebet.com. And after last week, well, I'm at the ANZ Stadium because South Sydney Rabbitohs, are they the favourites to win the grand final? Well, according to Centrebet.com, they certainly are, and this Friday night they take on my mighty West Tigers. And I have to say that even the most die-hard West Tigers fan cannot possibly select the Tigers to beat South the way things are going at the moment. Tigers were just thumped. They scored the first try against Cronulla last week and then didn't look like scoring a try after that. And there is massive problems at Leichhardt Oval, that's for sure and certain. South, on the other hand, well, they're getting things going. They've actually got a new sponsor whilst everybody else is struggling. They're flying at the moment, and they'll be here on Friday night with the Burrow, and they'll be winning this game. Also winning on Friday night will be the Brisbane Broncos. Had a tough couple of weeks, and I reckon they can turn things around in the match against the Gold Coast in that annual derby. The Gold Coast had a few unlucky breaks the last few weeks, managed to get over the line against St George on the weekend, and I think that their luck's just about run out. St George, speaking of the Dragons, gee, they were unlucky, I thought, against the Gold Coast. A couple of breaks that could have gone their way. Take on Parramatta, who've just found their mojo, haven't they? The old Parramatta Eels. It's an old classic match, this one, but I'm going to stick my neck out and say that the Dragons can bounce back and beat the Eels. Penrith in form. They beat the Melbourne Storm last week and nobody tipped that. Taking on the Warriors, who've been pretty good as well the last few weeks. I think, though, the trip for the Warriors just going out to Penrith just makes it that little bit difficult, although there's a lot of support for them out west of Sydney, but I'm tipping Penrith to continue on their winning way. Cowboys and Roosters salivating at this game, but the Roosters were just unbelievable at Brookvale Oval on Monday Night Football. Who's going to tip that they can't keep on going? They've got just those big boppers, magnificent. Sonny Bill with the offloads, everything's going well. Maloney and Pearce doing beautifully at 6 and 7, so I'm going with the Roosters. Cronulla take on Canberra in a game that's vitally important to the Sharks. Canberra had 14 points put against them in the opening 20 minutes last weekend and then put 40 on Newcastle in double quick time. They're an informed team. Blake Ferguson's flying, and I'm going to go for the Raiders to beat the Sharks there. Sunday also, Newcastle take on Canterbury at Hunter Stadium. The Bulldogs are going well, back from their last win in New Zealand, and I think they're going to keep going and get back to where they should be in the top half of the ladder, that's for sure and certain. And then the match of the round is Melbourne and Manly at Amy Park on Monday night. Melbourne Storm, unbeaten for about 15 or 20 games. Then they've lost their last two, surprisingly, to Canberra and Penrith, one at home and one away. Manly were a little bit disappointing. Oh, I think this is going to be a belter of a game. Look for Melbourne to bounce back. Let's have a look at my tips and review, and I like the Brisbane Broncos and also South on Friday night. I like St George to beat Parramatta, Penrith to beat the Warriors, the Roosters to upset the Cowboys at home, Canberra, Canterbury, and then Melbourne on Monday Night Football. For all the latest and greatest odds, head to Centrebet.com. We'll see you next week on footytips.com.au.